So this is my birthday toast to Mark Uyeda. I've known Mark for about 22 years now. We went to college together. I met him when he was rushing our fraternity. I can remember him. He was a shy, awkward little Japanese kid from Redmond, Oregon. I remember exactly what he looked like the first time I met him. He had a little puka shell necklace and a mullet, or as he used to call it, a mullet. Anyway, the guys in the fraternity and I, we decided to give Mark a break. Felt sorry for him, so we let him in our fraternity, hoping maybe we could make him a little less awkward, a little less shy, and maybe make a man out of him. And I can remember one time I went to go take a shower in the fraternity shower, and fraternity showers are like gymnasium showers, or these large open showers, and Mark was in there and he was crying, all by himself, just crying his little eyes out. And I said, Mark, what's wrong? Why are you crying? And he looked at me, tears just streaming down his face, and he said, why does God hate me so much? And I said, Mark, what are you talking about? God doesn't hate you. And he said, if God doesn't hate me, why did he give me such a small pee-pee? And I said, Mark, listen, not everybody can be Caucasian or African American. Different races have different strengths. And he started crying even louder, tears just cascading down his cheeks. And he said, but I'm bad at math too. And that's true. He is bad at math. But I told him what he needed to do was look for his strengths, focus on those strengths. And it wasn't long before Mark found the things that he was really good at. And there are two of them. Getting ass out drunk and making a fool of himself and scaring away women. And Mark spent the better part of college and really the rest of his life working on those things, working on those skills, honing them until now I can proudly say he is a 7th degree black belt at both of those disciplines. And though I'm only a year younger than Mark, I graduated from college about 8 years before him. And after I had graduated from college, graduated from law school, started my career, I decided to go to American Samoa and clerk for a year. And I clerked for the High Court of American Samoa in Pongo Pongo. And Mark and Terrence decided that they would come live with me for a while. Terrence was there for about 4 months. And the entire time he was there, he did two things: masturbated and laid out in the sun. Mark, unfortunately, was only there for 3 weeks because his grandfather passed away, and he had to go back to Honolulu. And on one of my trips back to the States, I decided to stop into Honolulu, visit Mark, and stay the night. And I went to meet Mark at his work, and at the time, he was working at Banana Republic. And while I was there, I met his manager, and his manager told me the story of Mark's getting hired. What happened was Mark came in and wanted a job, and he was looking for a job as a sales associate. But apparently there weren't any sales associate jobs available. But the manager liked him, and he said, listen, Mark, I like you. You seem like a good kid. I'm going to give you the one job that is available. I'm going to put you in charge of supplies. And Mark said, I'll take it. And so the manager left for the day and came back at the end of the day and asked one of the other sales associate, how's that new kid Mark doing? And sales associate said, we haven't seen him since this morning when you hired him. The manager said, that's weird. And so they go in the back in the stock room. They're calling out for Mark. Mark! No sign of Mark. They walk down each and every aisle until they get to the very back. And the only thing left that they hadn't checked was a little small storage closet. So the manager gets out his key, puts it in the knob, opens the door, and Mark jumps out and goes, supplies! That's also a true story. So a few years later, Mark moved back to Portland, and I ended up moving back to Portland. And I was actually there on the fateful night that he met his wife, Jamie. We were all at the Doug Fir, and Jamie was there, and she was blackout drunk, completely annihilated. And Mark decided to take advantage of the situation and take Jamie home. So he gave her a ride home and was at her house for a little bit. And within about a half an hour of talking to her, of course, not understanding anything he was saying, Mark told her that he loved her in true Mark fashion and asked her to marry her. Jamie, having no idea what was going on, agreed. And in the morning, when Mark retold the story to Jamie, Jamie, being a woman of her word, kept her promise and married Mark. And now they have 2 beautiful children, very happy family. And that gets us here today, Mark's 40th birthday. A lot of people didn't think Mark would make it this far. A lot of people thought this day will never come. The reason is because of Mark's dangerous combination of an unquenchable thirst for alcohol and a genetic inability to process it. But despite all the odds, Mark has made it to his 40th birthday. And I'm happy to say that I've been there along the way for a lot of this ride, making sure that Mark didn't choke on his own vomit, convincing women not to press charges against Mark for temporary restraining orders. I've been there along the way. And though Mark will never, ever, never, ever, never, ever, never, 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 ever, never, ever beat my marathon time, I'm sure he'll accomplish a lot of other great things in these next 40 years. And so I just want to say to Mark, to Muckboy, to Coconut, to Utes, happy birthday, or as the Japanese say, Hakuna Matata.